Hello, good evening, everyone. This is Jorge Estrada. I just would like to share with all of you that because of my unprecedented, undeniable, legendary, historic story, along with my legendary and historic self-amassed recording team roster of music, history, legend, and greatness, because of my self-amassed, historic, and legendary diamond-studded network of the very biggest, most reputable, notable, and just historic companies of this nation, linked worldwide. Also, because of the great potential of my singing and my songwriting and my production. I am a singer-songwriter, a producer, an arranger, composer. I'm a poet and a social scientist, born and bred out of our nation's capital, the District of Columbia, Washington. I'm going to be in Soul Central magazine next week, the week of the 24th of April, according to my publicist, who is a celebrity publicist, even though I'm not a celebrity yet. But I am to be in Soul Central magazine, which is SOUL, first word, second word, Central, CENTRAL magazine out of London, England. They have over 500,000 subscribers in London alone and another 500,000 worldwide. She said that the magazine in itself is extremely popular in that city. She also said that this coming June, I will be in the June freshman issue of XXL magazine, the #1 urban magazine in the entire nation, which has over 2 million subscribers and is carried in every major retail store outlet in this entire nation. So, just to give you an example of all of the history and legend and greatness that I've accomplished, summoned, amassed, materialized, just to give you an idea of all of the history and legend and greatness that I am surrounded by, supported by, not only for what will be my EP music album debut, but for what will be my documentary debut based on me, my life, my story, my accomplishments, but also in regards to my book and my treatise, what will be my nuclear book of facts and solutions to manifest a fact-driven and fact-based society and culture nationwide and worldwide. To turn a fact-driven and fact-based society and culture into the mainstream, for it to seep and become a complete and total part of every slice and aspect of life on earth on a daily basis. 6 months ago, on the 18th of October 2014, I uploaded 19 videos on my YouTube channel. Why? Let me give you an example. Because on foot, single father, with hardly any extra cash or time to spare, let me share several members of the recording team roster I put together on my very own. On drums, I have Robert Mousy Thompson, the former personal drummer of the Godfather of Soul, James Brown. On lead rhythm and guitar, I have Julian Jr. Marvin, former lead rhythm guitar player for Bob Marley and the Wailers. On keyboard, violin, and piano, I have Charles Tolbert, a.k.a. otherwise known as Bliss Ananda. He was the former keyboardist for the daughter of Nat King Cole, Natalie Cole. On bass, I have Robbie Gordon, otherwise known as the Secretary of Entertainment. Robbie Gordon was the bassist and one of the producers for the Godfather of Rap, Gil Scott-Heron, who was awarded the 2012 Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. I have access to another bass player by the name of Alvin White, who worked with the one and only Quincy Jones, who produced both Off the Wall and Thriller for the eternal king of pop, Michael Jackson. On guitar, I also have Big T, who was former guitar player of Paul Simon of Simon and Garfunkel. He's now currently bandmates with one of the most legendary hip-hop R&B producers of our time, Chucky Thompson, who was a hitman, who was a member of the Hitmen production team for Bad Boy Records and Entertainment and Puff Daddy back then before he became P. Diddy. Chucky Thompson produced several tracks on Notorious B.I.G.'s Ready to Die album. He produced both of Faith Evans' first two albums. He produced all of Mary J. Blige's It's My Life. He even produced one mic for Nas. On the 23rd of August 2014, when I went to check out their band, that being Chucky Thompson and Big T's band called The Pocket Band, Chucky Thompson said that he would be willing in the future to have a one-on-one consultation with me in regards to my music. Imagine that. One of Biggie's former producers willing to meet with me. On top of having James Brown's former drummer and Bob Marley's former guitar player and Natalie Cole's former keyboard player, and having access to Ben Sands, who is the keyboard sax player for the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, or having access to Charlie Rhythm Lewis, tenor saxophonist who worked with B.B. King, King of the Blues. He also worked with Buddy Guy and Ike Turner as an Ike and Tina Turner. Then for my documentary, you have Rachel Dunn, www.racheldunn.com, winner of the 2005 Horror and Sci-Fi International Film Festival Award for Best Cinematography of the Year for legendary horror film novelist Stephen King's film titled Gotham Cafe, Gotham, Gotham Cafe. That's right, she took the award. She beat all of the other, I think there's like 250 plus countries that compete for that award. She came out tops. She's worked with Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tim Burton, who did all of the Johnny Depp films that we love. She did 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, Titanic, Fight Club, several of the X-Men movies. She's considered a pioneer and visionary by a long rack of A-list Hollywood film producers in visual effects design and supervision because of her work with Burton, Stallone, Schwarzenegger, and all of the blockbuster films I just mentioned. She has agreed to produce and direct a documentary based on me. There's also Derek Ward, general assignment reporter with NBC4 News, WRC Television, Washington, D.C. He said when the time is right, once the music is put together, once the book is done, he will pitch a feature cover story of me to his producers at NBC4 News. My co-producer, Bliss Ananda, www.blissananda.com, blissananda.com, has linked me to world-renowned studio drummer and now singer of the legendary 70s disco funk international group Heatwave. He's linked me to Ignatius Mason. Ignatius Mason has his own recording studio in D.C. A member of Heatwave includes the super legendary songwriter Rod Temperton. Rod Temperton named and wrote the theme song for the highest-selling album of all time, Thriller, by Michael Jackson, was written by Rod Temperton. Rod Temperton also wrote Rock With You by Michael Jackson for the Off the Wall album. He wrote multiple songs on Off the Wall and multiple songs on Thriller. And he's also written #1 hits for so many legendary and iconic music superstars. Now that's here in DC. 6 months ago, when I uploaded my 19 videos on my YouTube channel, which is titled under Jorge Estrada DC. Check it out. JORGE ESTRADA, comma, D period, C period. Jorge Estrada DC. When I put those 19 videos up 6 months ago, the 18th of October 2014, I was contacted by who is now my publicist. I was contacted by a celebrity publicist who is now my publicist, Michelle Chella McGee of Bullseye Entertainment Inc. BULLZEYE Entertainment Inc. Since then, she has garnered me premium media coverage all over the internet. She's had me featured in a magazine. She has me featured in more magazines, like I said at the beginning of this, with Soul Central Magazine out of London next week, and the June freshman issue of the #1 urban magazine in the country, XXL Magazine. She has scheduled a closed-door business meeting and audition with the director of A&R for the historic and superstar legendary rap and business titan 50 Cent's record label, G-Unit Records. What an honor and privilege it will be for me to meet behind closed doors to talk business with the director of A&R for 50 Cent's record label, G-Unit Records, and Epic Records, which is still the record label of the now deceased eternal king of pop, Michael Jackson, and still home to Ozzy Osbourne, Sade, TLC, Future, and Pearl Jam. So it was supposed to happen 2 months ago. It's been rescheduled. I'm waiting on a date to be announced, and she will let me know as soon as she knows. She learned of my unprecedented, undeniable, historic, legendary story of greatness. She learned of my historic and legendary recording team roster I put together all on my very own. She learned of my diamond-studded web of the biggest and most historic companies of this nation and linked worldwide that I put together on my own. She's familiar. She got familiar with it. Then she checked out my rough tracks. My new song ideas were first stripped down and cleaned up by the sound engineer, the personal sound engineer of the Emmy Award-winning front cameraman of Wolf Blitzer's Situation Room on CNN television. You can check out the Situation Room on CNN TV Monday through Friday Eastern Standard Time from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. His front cameraman got his personal sound engineer outside of the company that he works for, CNN. So this is not CNN related. He got his personal sound engineer to strip down my original demo that was done in 2009 to 2011 with Danny Demetro, who was a major songwriting force and former member of the underground legendary art punk 80s band out of DC known as No Trend. Danny Demetro. So it went from Danny Demetro to this Emmy Award-winning front cameraman for Wolf Blitzer's Situations Room, personal sound engineer, to the third person, who will remain anonymous, works on the Hill, but is my direct link to Dan Wilson, the man who wrote the 2012 Best Song of the Year at the Grammys, Rolling in the Deep for Adele. He also wrote her #1 chart-topping single, Someone Like You. This same third person that got my new song ideas and rough tracks is also my direct link to one of the more recent drummers for the one and only majestic Mozart of our time, Prince. So There's that. Well, now my new song idea platforms, basically Rough Tracks, are at Rose Recording Studio with Larry Gershon out in Mitchellville, Maryland. You like the classic hip hop in the back? So basically, because I'll be meeting with G Unit Records, 50 Cent's label, and with the record label that Michael Jackson is still a member of, even after his death, Epic Records. Because I will be in XXL Magazine in the freshman issue, because I will be on Soul Central, in Soul Central Magazine next week. This video will go on my soon-to-be fully decked out MTV artist page, on my 60 minutes of video time on Vlad TV. Shout out to Vlad. Shout out to Vlad. And also because I'm going to do a separate video, which will be shorter, that will go on thisis50.com, which is 50 Cent's blog site. My publicist is a contributing blog writer for thisis50.com. She has her own page. If you go now to thisis50.com and type in my full name in the search bar, you will be able to read my 2,000-word permanent lifetime blog article on thisis50.com. Go to the search bar and type Jorge, Jorge, last name Estrada, Estrada. And the title of my article on This Is 50 is called Jorge Estrada is doing history-making projects with legendary entertainers. I am wearing my traditional Roman noble costume as out of respect, love, loyalty, and homage to my ancestors, perched on the historic fountain in the historic park of DuPont Circle in the heart of the nation's capital, which is where my mom and dad first met, where I met the mother of my daughter, and so many more interesting, fascinating, unique, and amazing, brilliant people. It's a nighttime shot. You can't miss it. So you have the EP music album debut, and you heard several members of my roster. Then there's what would be the documentary based on me. You've heard about Rachel Dunn. Again, racheldunn.com. RACHELDUNN.com. And then there's my book, my treatise, my nuclear book of facts and solutions to bring about a fact-driven and fact-based society and culture nationwide and worldwide, once and for all and permanently. I wanted to take over every facet of reality of life on Earth on a daily basis, 24/7, period, eternally. So this book will be unlike anything before its time, and there will never ever be another one like it after it's done with. I promise that. Mark it. So we got the book. I'm going to wrap up this final draft. We got the EP music album debut. I got off track. Let me get back on track. So my new song ideas are at Rose Recording Studio. So let me tell you what I've done. Because I don't have vocal parts, I don't have a main melody, I don't have main vocal melodies yet, or hooks for any of my new song ideas that got me most of the legends that I'm surrounded by and supported by who are waiting for me. I went ahead and picked 10 YouTube karaoke songs on YouTube of every genre you could think of. So I sang and did 50 Cent, I did Biggie Smalls, I did Led Zeppelin, I did Billy Joel, I did Aerosmith, Diana Ross, Joe Cocker, So get ready. He's going to mix that down because they're YouTube karaoke songs. So he's going to mix down the vocals the way I want them, of course, with his professional input. And then there are my 3 new song idea platforms, aka rough tracks. He's going to mix those down the way I want. Once my instrumental new song ideas are aligned, sequenced, cut, and mixed down the way I want, which he said would take about 3 days to do. And once all of my vocal tracks are mixed down the way I want to all of those YouTube karaoke songs I did, I'm sharing them with all members of my diamond-studded web, nationwide, linked worldwide. All members of my legendary, historic, unprecedented recording team of music history and greatness. Sharing it with my publicists. She will share it with G Unit Records and Epic Records. And perhaps even more record labels, such as Warner, Atlantic. That's right. So there's a lot going on here. Okay? So if you want to catch me on Facebook, you can catch me at facebook.com/MFJ Estrada. MF standing for my artistic name and entity, which is Mutatio Formulae. Mutatio Formulae. Okay, so for my Facebook page, just type facebook.com/MFJESTRADA. Again, for my YouTube channel, simply type Jorge Estrada DC, Jorge, last name ESTRADA, comma D period C period. If you want to check out my interviews I've done, you can listen to me by simply going to Google, type Jorge Estrada speaks to Martha Samasoni of the Music Head Show out of Wellington, New Zealand. We're going to do the second part of our interview soon. It will be featured on her new upcoming TV style show on her internet television network called LionCubsTV.com. And it will be featured with legendary, iconic music royalty Jermaine Jackson of the Jackson 5. Again, that's MUZICHEADZ show out of Wellington, New Zealand. I also did an interview with Miss P, as in Paul, of the Intuned show, NYC, 11/24/14. She has over 100,000 listeners, and her internet radio station was nominated for Best Internet Radio Station of the Year at the 2014 All-Star Music Awards. Again, when you go to Google, simply type Jorge Estrada chats it up with Miss P, or rather Miss P chats it up with Jorge Estrada, ESTRADA, Intuned show, the letter N followed by TUNED, NYC 11/24. And then there's so much happening with me. I try to fit this in, and it is just challenging. Let me tell all of you, but I'm getting there. Okay, I'm about to wrap this up, but it's challenging. There's just so much around me. It's colossal, it's titanic, it's epic, it's triumphant, it's magical, it's trailblazing, it's conquering, it's gargantuan, and there's nothing more else I can say about it than that. Okay? It's so tsunamic and powerful that it's a challenge to try to even fit all of this inside of less than 30 minutes. Okay, but with all of that said, I also did one more interview. They are out of, this talk show is out of Singapore, It's called The Carry On Harry Show. Its radio host and producer is Harry Jondal, last name Jondal. He's got over 1 million listeners. The man's been on air for 12 to 15 years, and his show is a major hub between the east and western hemisphere of the planet. Okay? So if you go and type Jorge Estrada on the Carry On Harry Show with Harry Jondal out of Singapore, you'll also be able to locate that. He also has on his homepage, it's called Emerging Artists from the West. You'll find Jorge Estrada. I should be on that list somewhere. Okay. Now, we covered the EP album, the recording team, the network, the magazines, the interviews, my publicist, who again was a member of the A&R staff, for Warner Brothers, Elektra, and Atlantic Records. Atlantic, home to Led Zeppelin, Aretha Franklin, Junior Mafia. Elektra, home to the Cars, the Doors, and Warner Brothers, Madonna, Ice-T, you name it, Prince, Marilyn Manson, and it goes on and on and on, okay? So, I just want to say also, I want to give a shout out and thanks. This is the third time I've done this. I can't seem to get this down to where I want, so I'm just going to run with this one this time. I want to give a shout out because I put this up 6 months ago. I put my 19 videos up 6 months ago. And hold on, here's my cell phone here. I put this up 6 months ago. I uploaded 19 videos on my YouTube channel. And even though my true blue best friend, business partner, just ace in the hole, who's just been there for me. I can't say enough about her. Amy Angelo, who I will introduce shortly. But, I mean, we haven't even had a chance to contact the 7,000 people that I'm tied to. That being 1,200 plus through my 2 cell phones that I amassed on my own, accumulated on my own, on top of the 5.8 thousand that I'm tied to through my MySpace page. Back in August, September of 2011, I got 18,000 likes on MySpace and was awarded 7 badges. And one of the badges was called the In the Spotlight badge because of the number of people that looked at my profile picture. So I got 18,000 likes. I mean, from 10-year-olds to people in their 70s and 80s. It was astonishing. I couldn't believe it was astonishing. Okay. So we haven't contacted those 7,000 yet, which we plan on doing. I unfriended 138 people several months ago because they never liked or commented. They never showed any support or joy in any shape or form for any of my historic and legendary and great accomplishments, but instead want to convince themselves that it's not true. You know, envy and hatred and denial are all very ugly, ugly attributes. And it didn't matter whether it was James Brown's drummer standing next to me, or Bob Marley's guitar player, or whether I made mention, or whether it was Stephen King, Sylvester Stallone, and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Tim Burton's former cinematographer. That's right, Rachel Dunn. It didn't matter. They didn't want to give any likes or comments. They didn't want to contribute. So I said, what's the purpose of us being affiliated? Despite not contacting the 7,000 that are still there for me, as of yet, despite unfriending these 138, in the 6-month period on my YouTube channel, I've gotten over 1,300 video views, over 6,000 minutes of me being watched, which is a total of 100 hours flat. Okay? And we're talking about my 3-part video series, which is 6 hours of you looking at me and hearing my voice, tell you my undeniable, unprecedented, historic, legendary, great story of greatness. 10 video snippets of all these music legends who've worked with the biggest celebrities and household names and superstars and icons of our time and from the annals of modern history, standing next to me, testifying next to me in my video snippets with me. On top of the music of my new song ideas, my rough tracks, which got many of these legends and visionaries and pioneers around me, including the battalion and the legion of people that support and respect and admire and trust in me, that I'm going to cross that finish line and achieve even greater history with more power and might and clarity and reality. So, here I am now. It's all lined up. It's all flanked. Soon as I get my tracks mixed down by Larry Gershon of Rose Recording Studio, everyone gets it. And then we'll see what happens from there. Okay? So, on that note, I want to go ahead. First and foremost, I want to give a major shout out to the most important person in my life. She is my Grecian empress. She is my daughter, Victoria. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I want to give a shout out to all of the people on this historic, legendary, trailblazing path that I've carved over 12 plus years by foot with no car, with my 2.5-inch heel, soft, genuine leather boots with the zip on the side before I became a father, to even after giving up my boots after I became a father. All throughout my home city, the nation's capital, the District of Columbia. I want to give a shout out to all the people that have been there, and you know who you are, and you know I haven't forgotten about you. And you know I'm coming back for you once I cross that line and the trophy is in my hand. And now, I want to go ahead and give a major shout out. This is from Mutatio Formulae, my artistic entity, my artistic name. M-U-T-A-T-I-O, first word, second word, Formulae. F-O-R-M-U-L-A-E in root Latin. The mother and father language of the Western white world, point blank. You guys all know I'm cosmic and transcendental and universal, but I have to call things as they accurately are, okay? So, I just want to say that. So, I want to go ahead and introduce someone, just an angel brought into my life. She is the best friend. She is an incredible partner. She's played an essential role in making things possible and plausible. And, together we look forward to conquering the world, man, and turning this planet into a fact-driven, fact-based society and culture, because that's the only thing that's left. All right, so everyone, let me go ahead and introduce you to Amy Angelo. Why don't you come on over, Amy? All right, cool. Huh? Here, have a seat. All right. All right, everyone, this is Amy. Just an incredible, amazing human being. Just a brilliant human being with a platinum heart and a clear mind. And I'm just so impressed by how she's actually been willing and able and open to receive all of the legend and history and greatness that I have already accomplished, and all of the history, legend, and greatness that I'm surrounded by and supported by. As a matter of fact, she's met several of them. So if there's anything you'd like to say at the end of this, because this will go on MTV.com. Shout out to MTV and Music Television, and this will also go out on Vlad. Shout out to VladTV.com. This will go out to Vlad, and hopefully we can also get her on ThisIs50.com. All right, is there anything you'd like to say?
I'm just very glad to have met someone who doesn't watch the world, but shapes it and makes it happen. And for including me. Thanks.
Oh wow, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, I just got one last note. You sure there's nothing else? You don't you sure there isn't anything else you'd like to say to the masses, to the world, to the public? Something you want to get off your chest? Something you want to make clear? Anything? Or do you think you've said enough? It's up to you, of course.
I think just everybody keep in mind their own convictions, but do so honestly and with purity of heart. And that is something I've learned to do lately. And that's it.
All right, cool. Let me get here. All right, awesome, very cool. All right, so that's Amy. There she is. That's the angel by my side, and that's coming from me. One last note too. My publicist, if you, she posted on her blog page on 50 cents. I love you, 50. If you go to 50 cents, thisis50.com, as many of you know, that's 50 Cent's blog site. If you go in the search bar and type in Jorge Estrada, you'll be able to access and read my 2,000 word permanent lifetime blog article on thisis50.com. It's on my publicist, my celebrity publicist blog page. Again, she is in fact a celebrity publicist. I'm just not a celebrity yet. Henceforth yet. But once you type that in, you should see the title. Again, it will read, Jorge Estrada is doing history-making projects with legendary entertainers. You check out my YouTube channel, Jorge Estrada DC. You'll listen to my rough tracks. They're not cut, aligned, sequenced, or mixed down yet, but the potential is great. You can still get a gist of the magic and the power and the originality and the depth of what I've done. And that's pretty much it. So keep your ears open, keep your eyes open, keep your mind clear and sharp, and keep a good heart. Okay? All right. But one final note. At some point, someone has to be willing to step up and be purely factual about every topic that this society and culture does not want to be factual about. At some point, someone has to step up and be factual about every topic that those around the world do not wish to be factual about. And that person is me, Jorge Estrada, otherwise known as Mutatio Formulae. Have a great evening. Thank you for your time, and a blessed night to you all. And again, this goes out most importantly to my daughter, Victoria. I love you, Victoria. This is another piece of your father's historic and legendary archival museum that he's putting together for you. I love you, sweetheart. All right, everyone. Take care. Have a good night. Bye-bye.